And hello, class, and welcome as we are officially kicking off week 2 of the course here. And just a few things that I need to cover here as we are coming to the conclusion and wrapping up week number 1. There's some things that I need to really put a strong emphasis on in terms of academic performance and what you're going to get out of this course, meaning what you put into it, that's what you're going to actually get out of it. Now, the one thing I noticed regarding week 1 here, and this doesn't apply to every student within the class, but however, though, there has been a low rate in terms of participation, a very low rate. Now, the class started and kicked off officially this past Monday. The one thing that you need to do, and in the introduction video, I know that I did reiterate this a little bit before the course actually started. Some things, though, that you need to focus on and that you need to pay attention to are the actual due dates. So, for example, I need to go back here. The calendar is already set up in the course shell, meaning, okay, it's going to give you due dates for your discussion activities as well as your assignments. Class, I cannot emphasize this enough, but I will continue to emphasize this, and you will notice that when I begin to update grades, that if you have not posted activities or assignments by the due date, the following day is when I normally grade. And you will notice that you will actually have a 0 for that discussion activity or for the assignments that are due at the end of the week. So, chronologically, let me give you the order of how things work. So, as you know, every week, every Monday is the beginning of the new week. Okay? Now, as you go into that week, you have Monday, you have Tuesday, and you have Wednesday. You have 4 days before your discussion activities are due. And again, you will get the notifications of this. This is all in the calendar when you log into the course shell. So if I can give you some advice here, actively, at least 3 to 4 times a week, you should be engaging in your asynchronous courses. And this is asynchronous. It's not synchronous, meaning, okay, we are not meeting face to face and we're not meeting on Zoom, and I'm not holding class for maybe the duration of 2 hours or whatever it may be. So keep that in mind. You are accountable in terms of how you get done with the activities. You have the readings first that are in the textbook. I have provided lectures, which, of course, if you look into every week, you'll see that there's a lecture already laid out. And then also, I have provided PowerPoint slides, which is a reflection of the lecture that I've already provided. So you have your materials and resources that are already in place. Monday and Tuesday, here's the thing. This is what you should do, okay? And in terms of study habits, I can't physically tell you how to go about conducting your study habits, but what I can do as a professor is give you advice in terms of how you should deal with not only this course that's asynchronous, but also any other courses that you are taking that happen to be asynchronous as well. So the first thing that you need to do is this. Monday and Tuesday is the beginning of the week, okay? Engage your readings either Monday or Tuesday. By Wednesday, you should be wrapping up your readings, and this is only advice that I'm giving the class. Thursday, your discussion activities, and these are the discussion threads, are due. Now, if you don't think that you're not getting points for this, you are getting points for this. I want to let everybody know that. Every week, for the 2 discussion posts that I give you all, that's a total of 20 points. Now, over the 7.5 weeks that we are together within this course, being actively engaged in it, if you don't do the discussion post, you're losing out on 20 points every week. And guess what? That's very detrimental towards your final grade. So it's going to come to the point to where, for example, if you don't do week 3 discussion post, if you don't do anything for that week, but if you happen to complete week number 4, 5, or 6, and then when we get into week number 7, week 7.5 is the final week of the course. You've just lost out on 20 points because you didn't engage in the discussion post and didn't give an initial response for week number 3. And that could be the difference between a B and an A, or vice versa. If you happen to get a lower grade, then you just have to do the review in terms of how all the items are weighted, the weighting of the grade. For example, the final assignment due for the course, along with the final exam, is going to be weighted heavier than what we're doing in terms of the weekly assignments or the discussion activities that you're engaging in. So let me just summarize it by saying this. Every single point is important. I cannot stress that enough. Every single point is important. And with this being the first week of the course, it was essential and really mandatory for you all who didn't log in to log into the course. For example, at the beginning of the week, you had your welcome and your introductions that were due. Before that, you had the quiz on the 10 P's that were due, and it was just 5 questions that you had to answer, and that would officially launch you into the course itself, where you could begin to engage within the content. Do the readings, get active and engage in the discussion post and do those, and then also begin to work on your assignment that happens to be due tomorrow night at midnight to wrap up week number 1. Then also, I want to let you all know in terms of grading and what I normally do. So, for your discussion posts that are due Thursday midnight, as you've probably noticed already, if you've logged into the course shell and if you looked into your grade, Friday during the day, I happen to grade those discussion posts that were due Thursday at midnight. When it comes to the assignment for the week, which is going to be due tomorrow at midnight, I normally grade those no earlier than maybe the next day, Sunday, or the latest will be Tuesday. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, okay, that you go ahead on and turn in the assignment late, because as you've noticed, as I grade, if that assignment or if that discussion activity is not submitted or posted within the due date or time, I'm giving zeros for it. And per the syllabus, in terms of what's blurbed within the syllabus, understand this class that I will deduct points as well. So what am I saying to you all? There's no reward, okay, for effortless. I'll say that again. There will be no reward for effortless. So put your effort into this. And I understand that many of you all probably have a full course schedule. You're probably taking maybe 5, 6 courses. I know that varies for everyone. But keep this in mind, though. The face-to-face classes that you're probably having on campus are a priority. I understand that. You may be taking online courses as well that happen to be synchronous, meaning that you're meeting face-to-face with your instructor via Zoom. And it could be a given day throughout the course of the week, where that instructor, that professor, is actively engaging with you. Again, with this course, you're pretty much doing the work on your own without meeting me face-to-face. So I hope everybody understands this, as I am making this video mandatory as it's being posted, that everybody looks at this and they understand, okay, timeliness is everything in terms of how you do your discussion post and in terms of how you submit the assignments that are due at the end of the week. Okay? So I hope we have an understanding, okay, in terms of how things are graded, what is expected out of you in terms of the student, and then moving forward, how that affects your overall grade. If you happen to miss discussion activities or not turn in, I should say, assignments that are due at the end of the week, it all adds up at the end of the course. It all adds up. Trust me, believe me. I can guarantee you and reassure you that if you purposely miss points, and then when we get to the final week, you're going to look at your overall grade and you're going to say to yourself, I should have submitted week number 2 or week number 3 or week number 4, whatever it is that you purposely missed out on. So effectively use time management, class. This is what I'm telling you all. Effectively use it. Okay? Now, let me get into week 2 here. What I would like to do with this is I would like to get more into the theories, terms, and definitions. Okay, so I'm kind of hoping that we have laid down the foundation in terms of expectations, in terms of how items are graded, in terms of the timeliness, okay, of how you should engage within the discussions as well as submitting the assignments. So this week, okay, I'm just going to briefly summarize this as the time is narrowing down here. We're going to talk about quality services. So think about services in terms of things that tourists, okay, utilize in order to get to their destination. That could be hotels, that could be airlines, it could be car rental companies. Okay, we're talking about the quality that is given, okay, by the servicer. Now, you have to look at the stakeholders in all of this, okay? The stakeholders happen to be the tourist, the travel agency companies, if they happen to utilize a travel agent to book their trip. You got to look at the hotel staff and management. You also have to factor in restaurants that are in the area. So, for example, staff, managers, hostesses, chefs, all of these people are stakeholders. Okay, when you think about who's all involved within the service process. And it's the tourist that's receiving the good quality service, that's what it should be, from these different types of services. So go through this material briefly. And again, you will have discussions, 2 discussion posts to respond to by Thursday midnight, and your main assignment that will be due next Saturday. Okay, I have provided the website. I came up with this assignment. I want you all to look into the W Hotels, which happens to be Marriott. Okay, and I want you to do a research of the website. It gives a breakdown, okay, of the exceptional service that the W Hotels actually provide. So what I want everybody to do, I want everyone to create a 5 to 7 PowerPoint slide presentation to outline the exceptional service of the W Hotels. You would click on this link and you would create a PowerPoint slide. Okay, let it be visually appealing by all means, but let me tell you all something in terms of how I look at PowerPoints. I'm looking for the content. And as you know, all assignments are graded on a rubric. So keep that in mind. I want it to be visually appealing. Yes, I want it to stand out, but the content is more important than the visual detail. Okay, this wraps up week number 2 in terms of what's expected of you. Okay, everybody, you know my availability in terms of how you can reach me. You can send emails. I've been responding to students already. Also, my hours of availability to be reached by phone, that is available as well. I am available Monday through Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. Okay, everyone, that's going to wrap up week number 2. Professor Javier Black out.